in the Lanxess Arena. ESL One Cologne holds its breath as the journey begins now.
And a home time narrative to follow along as G2 tries to make a comeback. Back to form, back to basics, bringing in Smiths, the former coach, bringing in existence for the leadership. Surely this has to free up Shox.
Time will tell. G2 starting the CT side map. Big going for the straight up B rush here. We're kicking it off in style. It's going to be fast paced. And Shoxy is completely blind in the corner. They must know where he is.
Just to hold it off, though, they're not worried so much about Shox, but more so of a potential crossfire that could have existed within the site. It certainly did. Full stack with the falling back of the aggression on the T side. So too will the defense. They'll rotate back around toward A. They'll play truck, retake from highway as well, with Body getting up toward the ticket booth. No kit in any of the CT's hands, so Kenny elects to get a little bit more aggressive, take advantage of the smoke thrown by the forklift. Looks for the shots toward the door. That opens him up toward A main, and despite an early shot, it's Gobby to find the first kill, but Nex falls immediately after, and the bomb goes down with him, meaning it can't be planted as cleanly as they might like. Mind you, Smoothie still finds Smiths.
Getting a little bit dicey now as G2 have low HP on Body. It's a 4 versus 3. The bomb is finally planted. You can see the retake coming in primarily from shore. That's going to be Body in existence, waiting for Shoxy. They haven't really found much damage just yet. Existence can't land the shots required. He's in the open. He is exposed. And finally, something going in their favor. They have not got a kit right now as the 3-on-3 ensues. And Tizian, he's finding headshots all over the place. As he finishes things off there, it's going to be big to take an early lead here on Cash.
All-important pistol. T-side of Cash as well. Bring out an AK-47 already for Smoothie. Tabson elects to stick to the MP7. I'm gonna go for a number of AKs. I say Tabson's gonna hold for that. He actually throws that back over to Gobby, who, as the in-game leader, is willing to use the lesser weapon along with Nex to give the firepower to those in need and those who deserve it. Tabson, certainly one of those players as we look back on Tizian's incredible performance.
Absolutely, he'll be ready to go with the AK-47. 3 of those got B and Next to back them up with the SMG. It's not a complete full investment here from G2. They have saved a bit of cash, but more interesting enough, they've got 4 HE grenades right now. If we look at their initial setup, doesn't really suggest they're going to be using them in the same place. You can see it's Kenny, Existence, Smiths, and Body. They're not really together right now. Body and Kenny are both on the A side. Existence back at the CT truck. So it's going to be a difficult round for them in terms of the general approach from Big. This is what you call a classic, slow, methodical default. Just holding up, waiting to see if there's any sort of CT aggression coming through. And then you're going to start probing towards areas like B storage as Smooya completely dispatches of Smith there. Nice opening pick. And at this point, Matt, you don't need to overcommit. You don't need to run back towards B. You're just holding. You're trying to see what's going to happen the next 30 seconds or so. See if the CTs try and probe for a bit of information. They know B is completely open now. If you look at the minimap, there's not a single CT over there. It's completely open. So what's the play? Do G2 try and push, try and find out what's going on? Because it looks like Smooya wants to investigate towards B. He gets closer and closer now as he wants to get a bit more information for his squad.
Shox still holding off toward middle. Smoke goes down. It nearly left a small gap as the second one comes out a little bit later to see toward a main, or rather, excuse me, mid-main. Nonetheless, next goes out. Still is a gap toward the white side of that. Thompson did the damage required, put Shox back though, and he's trying to hold inside of the smoke and get clever. He's a little bit late because Nex is already inside of the vents. He may still catch him off because he's fallen back. Thankfully, Nex is aware of it, and despite all the activity toward mid, it's over toward A. They want to go. Kenny's still inside of the site, pulls one back. He's got a second, but he's wrapped around as they can't control highway. It goes 2-0 for Big.
Got a little bit dicey there. Big, with 7 seconds on the clock and the final kill came through. It was Smooya to open things up, and I like that from Big. Didn't overcommit, didn't panic. No one went down. They made sure they had trade potential in bucket loads as they committed towards A. Sure, they went to the stack, but there was never really in doubt of it going wrong for them. There we are. A lot of Big fans in the crowd here today. It is going to be the full eco for G2, so you would assume this is going to be a 3-0 start for the home team. As Smooya, he wants to get it done quickly. He'll be investigating towards middle with his trusty MP7 here, looking to farm that cash. And once again, the B bomb site is completely open. Tabson can hold for the flanks, and that's a pretty much guaranteed round at this point. Tabson not looking like he'll find heads straight away, but he's got information. The bombs can be planted, and that is round.
Bit frustrating. They go toward middle. There's 3 or 4 of them there at the time, and Smooya just goes immediately up and goes into the vents. They can hear him go through. Nothing they can even do about it. Can't peek back out. 2 managed to kill from Shox at least, so Smooya going down. Keep an eye on his economy early on too, because he'll want to bring out the AWP. Not necessarily in the next round. It could be dropped over by Nex, mind you. Can't purchase it himself, more to the point, but it's 3-0 for Big. And G2 will respond to purchase. I'm just speaking of the money as well. Kenny Hess is going to be on the cusp.
Yeah, he'll get 2,400, so he'll be able to afford it, like at best, but is like, I think he probably will. On a map like Cash, the way things are going so far, he wants to start setting the tone for the game. He'll just have to play a little bit more like passively.
And just to define what I meant by cusp is, yeah, he can afford it. It's whether or not he justifies it, given that he won't be able to get head armor with it. Does he want to try and get more utility? What's the call from the overall team complexion? And I tend to agree with you. I think on a map like Cash, where you can be so influential. In fact, he's going to go with it and go glass cannon with it.
Indeed. I think that's fine. He just has to change the playstyle a little bit. You can't be in vulnerable grenade spots, for example, and he knows the tendency that Smooya is definitely going to be watching his demos. He has the AWP as well. It has been dropped from him. Smooya's going for that early pick towards B. Will he even get an opportunity to find the first kill? Not quite. It's Nex who's battling towards middle with the MAC-10. He's trying to find unarmored opponents, but nothing going in their favor just yet. tabseN does burn one. That's going to bring it back quickly to the 4-on-4 here with 1 minute 30 on the clock. In terms of mid-control, that hasn't really been granted. So they did get a kill, and that technically does favor the T side here, but still stuck in their default positions, and that's fine. They can just go back into the default now. They probe towards middle, made things uncomfortable, and that's going to thin out the CT defense.
Deeper smoke from Gapi will allow him to get over to the vent. Good read. Left that gap on purpose, seemingly, as he finds existence up behind the white box. Rotation from Body to get back inside of the site in B as quickly as he dare. Kenny will support that. Smith therefore has to hold highway on his own, finds Gabi. That'll do for now, but does he know that tabseN's getting closer and closer? Good find. Damage was dealt, but it gives them an all-important kill. Opens up the map in any direction they please to go, and the man advantage in doing so.
Absolutely do. Still 40 seconds on the clock. Remember, Kenny, no armor. They've got no kits, no utility. Up against a pretty much fully equipped big squad. You can see they've got smokes, molotovs, flashbangs, and Smooya, he'll be deploying his towards a highway right now. They've got smokes. This is going to be a full execution with 3 players. tabseN ready to go up towards highway. So this is going to be very promising indeed. And Kenny S and Body have opted to stay towards B. I think they're going to concede the round. If it bomb does go down A, they won't even attempt it. They'll just have to save the weaponry. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but it seems like they just have to accept it and move along, as that is the plan, and there's no way they can even consider moving from their positions. Very well done by Big. I like that nice early attack. We know on the first gun round, especially when the G2 side, they didn't fully invest in the second round, but they spend most of their cash. They're not going to have full utility, especially the 3-0 coming in. You know, they might not have an incendiary, they might not have all the smokes required, or even the defuse kit. So they get in towards middle. Sure, they lose the first kill, but in fact it goes to a 4-on-4, and they can go back into the default, wait those reactions. And it worked out very nicely for them indeed. That not so well for tabseN, but they have won the round. This is Kenny S trying to hold on to his orb.
Once again, discourage Tizian's attack. He'll buy himself enough space. I think he'll be fine, but nonetheless 4-0 for Big as they pick up the first gun round as well as the opening pistol. AWP carried over. You did say it can be extremely influential on this map with or without guns to go along with it. He can play aggressive, and he'll be able to bring out a little bit of armor this time around it.
Kenny S, you're absolutely right, does have the potential, especially on a map like Cash. There's so many opportunities on this particular one. You got the squeaky door, A main, middle, can be boosted up if he really wants to, and towards the connector on his side. B storage, he can make things happen. Whether he wants to is another question. He has purchased some Kevlar to give him a little bit more freedom, I guess. He can actually go for some of those picks, but this is really nice from Godby. Great aim. He's actually played really well this tournament. Great to see that. 4-0 in favor of Big. It is a T-sided map, but this is a fantastic start for them. AWP still in the hands of Smooya, of course, and we'll see what Kenny S brings to the table in round number 5.
And yeah, the obvious call around the timeout was getting armor onto Kenny, but then doing the same for pretty much everyone else. Existence elects not to, but if you can find opening picks, if they can get guns down, that armor as soon as you pick up the guns is beneficial because it removes aim punch. This bomb is intentionally dropped inside of the mid garage. tabseN, meanwhile, gets back toward A main. Tizian hold with Smooya, expecting perhaps some aggression toward the squeaky door, knowing that they've got to go somewhere to try and find the opening pick. Slide stack in sight. Haven't seen that as common as of late, but this gets an M4 into a position of power, given that, well, no head armor, that's fine, but it protects all the rest of the body either way.
Once again, be very exposed. Just existence there with P250, and he's the only player without armor as well. Big would be best off going for a full execution here. They know the AWP is up, so what's the best way to counter an AWP map? You smoke them out, you remove them, you eradicate risk, and when you do finally commit, you want to be using the Molotovs as well. Flushing out any close-range pistols, smokes are going to be their best friend in this particular round. They know Kenny S is going to be a threat, and right now he's positioned at the CT truck, and they're going to be taking care of that as the smokes start to rain in. Kenny might be out of luck here, but maybe Body's got a chance. He'll be waiting on the boost here, but he can get the opening frag. They might be able to do something with this, but great response coming through, and Kenny, he has got vision somehow as he finds a kill on next, and it's still back and forth. 3-on-1 advantage now for G2.
Still trying to find a gap from the doorway. Tizian has to eventually walk out and go toward the bomb. He can't get there. Good crossfire set. Smith's held off from the fence. Finally a first round for G2.
Now I'm thinking those smokes they deployed towards the CT truck actually benefited Kenny's. I think he went towards the E-box. We'll have to confirm that. I wasn't 100% sure, but it seemed like he had way too much vision considering his position there. And it was the execution from Big, but unfortunately couldn't get much further than the forklift. That boost was a great idea towards the A side. Really threw a spanner in the works at that point. A lot of attention, position towards that area. Gamble, like we said, 4 players from G2 towards A, but it pays off as Kenny S now starting to get a bit more confidence, trying to get that first pick. You can see him watching towards A main, but it's Smith's to strike first. He took down Gob B in the B storage area. Gob went for the early pick, didn't work out for him. And now G2 looking to string a few rounds together.
Smoke goes down with Shocks pushed up. Pressure onto Smith's body is trying to get there. Shocks can still back out though. Cover off checkers. It's massive. That's why Body likes not to go up above to heaven. Good read as they immediately remove him, but Body snaps back to find one. Good re-entrance from Shocks. Smooya. He can look all he likes with that AWP, but they won't find him. They do manage, however, to keep the bomb with the smoke now down toward tree. They should get a plant out of this as well. Potential for the reset certainly existed, but at this point in time, it's all about survival. See how quick Smooya really is as he tries to hold off toward the vents.
He's got existence coming in that direction, but that Molotov could be extremely important. There are 3 players coming in towards heaven, 1 towards the vent, and Smooya might be out of luck here. He's got too many angles to watch, but timing working in his favor for now, but not for long, and it's going to be a nice, clean retake there from G2. Impressive stuff. They managed to keep 4 players alive as well. That's exactly what they needed, Matt. We talk about the resets so much in CSGO, especially on the CT side. You win 1 round, sure, but if you lose the follow-up, it can go horribly wrong. Smooya looking a little bit frustrated at that point. He did have a nice position, but there's too many angles to watch. You need CT's be coming from behind him. CT spawn, storage, events. He had to try and commit to one of the angles. Unfortunately, chose the incorrect one. 4-2, and I think that is going to be the money broken for Big. But they have force put into this round. They've brought 3 CZs into the equation. Tizian going to be rocking the AK-47 and Gob B on the SMG. Is it the straight-up B rush? I would say that probably not. Knowing a team like Big, they're going to have some sort of tactical flair here. You're going to see some Molotovs, some smokes used. They want to get into that bomb side and make things as uncomfortable as possible for the defense. We love Molotov executions on the B bomb side of Cash. It can be so beautiful. You can completely win the round by just correctly throwing Molotovs in a flashbang combination. Here come the smokes now, and indeed the Molotovs going in as well. Now will they get a chance to even get near the bomb site? Body seems ready for them.
He's certainly gotten out of checker room, but back inside of the site's another problem because he's already lost Smiths. He's got full vision and he's got the bomb down. Body looking for yet another as he's already found 3 inside of the site. Bomb to his favor has fallen well and truly inside of the doorway where which Smooya made his exit onto the AK-47. He'll try and do what he can. It looks as though it's a 3rd round almost guaranteed for G2, and Smooya says otherwise. Good shot to find Kenny at headshot. Leads off the corner. That is close. Anticipation spray through the garage, so too it was returned, and he takes a little bit of damage, goes back down to 23. His body holds off. Inevitable, I think, at that point, but he gave it a go. 4-3, this now brings money into disarray. There's, well and truly, little to work with on the Big side. They'll go down to 37. I mean, you're in forced territory, but a 3rd round bonus, there's no point. You get some pistols, and that's about it.
Indeed. You still
I think Gob B may go with a stronger mentality on force buying, so I might see some pistols, no armor here. He's going to be, I say it, then taps and goes head armor, so fair enough.
Well, Tabson still got 1,800 after that one, so I guess that's okay. They're going to have 4 save loss bonus next round with 2,900, so we'll still have enough for an AK armor and basic utility. It won't be ideal, but still, he could cause some damage here. Tabson is their absolute star player. He needs to step up in this series if they're going to stand the chance, and like we said in the pregame, these are very high fragging maps. The fact we've got Cash and Dust 2 back-to-back is really interesting. I can't wait to see how Dust 2 unfolds, and as these guys warm up and get more relaxed, you see some great AWPing action for this man in the screen right there. Smooya against Kenny S. I think that can be quite a tantalizing battle if he can find his confidence on the stage. Round 8. No grenade to speak of. They're just trying to find any sort of 1D they can here, but G2, after hearing the pistols go off, they're not going to give them any opportunities. Playing crossfires, make them commit fully to the site. It's unlikely to have grenades. You can let them have middle. It's not a huge problem. Just have one person spotting it, which is the existence, and as soon as he feels a little bit too uncomfortable, he can just fall back. He doesn't want to go down here, and Tabson just swallows the grenade down to 36 HP.
Still manages a shot back. Didn't catch it, but he might have taken the grenade. He's dished out Deagle instead. It's Shocks that falls. And now Kenny, once again, toward the forklift, has to be somewhat cautious of the fact that mid is open. Very passive hold on it from both Existence and Smiths. If Highway becomes the point of approach, Kenny, identifying that, had to move, and he did. He's gone in behind the red crate. They'll get an M4 toward the open door. Careful not to trip over each other. Kenny almost body blocking Smiths. If they committed, it could have been awkward for him. Make his way to quad. He's going to be well-timed, well-struck. Tizian on top of it falls to Kenny's MP9, and he's got a 3rd kill on top of it. Smiths with 2, but more importantly, I mentioned Kenny because obviously, AWP player, you want that economy. He's got 12-2 right now.
Yeah, he farms $1,800 with that little sequence there, so that's very beneficial. Nice work by him. He could have even afforded the AWP in that round, but he wanted to make sure he didn't risk anything. Didn't want to maybe give that AWP away and give them an opening. If he gives one MP9, that's fine. It doesn't really matter too much. Not only does he survive, he managed to get the AWP up now. Plenty of cash here, and G2 have pulled it back 4 rounds in a row for the CT side. No AWP for Smoothie this time, but he's certainly capable of being a rifler as well. We'll see whether this, what looks like to be an execution eventually, will work out for Big. And you can see a completely different setup for G2 now. They've gone for more of a retake mentality. It's just Kenny is at the A bomb site. He's playing from that CT truck. They're actually going to provide more firepower towards middle. And that's what a great CT side will do. They'll be changing it up every single time, so the terrorists can't adapt to what kind of defense they think they're up against. And you're definitely going to see some Kenny S aggressive picks coming in as well. He's just getting into the zone right now.
Door open by Tizian, spotted by Existence. He'll now very likely hold that position for a while, keep his eyes fixed upon it. Good really spray. In fact, takes Tizian down to 62. He'll be timid and a little less encouraged to try and peek out wide and return as a result of that. Kenny, meanwhile, smokes off. I mean, that allows Existence in. Unfortunately, he's going to be Molotov'd off. That's going to go all the way to the corner. He's got to go past the smoke. This is a decent transition late because they've already cleared this corner. So if he's not spotted, oh, the flash, they just barely see him. I was going to say that would be massive. They don't all run straight by, but Tabson finds it. Smooya, he gets Kenny. He's followed it up. He's on to Shocks. They take the advantage back. Despite going down a man early, it's Body that now has to hold from quad. His teammate, Smiths, already on the flank. He might catch out Smooya, but he's heard the M4 fire as they spotted each other in turn. No bomb plant, 29 seconds. And it's all in the AWP. They know exactly where he is. They can play this together, and that's exactly what they do. It's the lead now for G2.
Scrappy round, but it's G2 coming out on top. You can see once the smokes and Molotov started coming in, they managed to get players quickly on towards the site there, managing to change from the retake setup to having 3 or 4 players right in the site. There's a little bit too telegraphed from the terrace before they finally committed. Smooya did what he could with the AK-47. 2 nice kills, but that player towards quad, I think it was Body, there's too much of a nuisance, and no plant comes in, and it's going to be another difficult buy for Big. Next, just for the CZ, Tizzy and Khalil. There are 3 AKs, but 2 players have absolutely no utility whatsoever. Back towards A, it seems, and I think this will be another simple sort of execution. It won't be as technical as before. They'll probably just smoke in front of the actual highway itself, and then on the bomb site, and just try and flash in and have power in numbers. 5 people going into the bomb site. There's the flash, and here we go. Can Smooya and co open things up? They have not smoked off CT spawn at all. They've gone prematurely by the looks of things, and now it will be a 4 versus 2 advantage as Kenny S just keeps plucking them away from the bomb site.
Great to see some form from Kenny. First time you and I have had the chance to witness it in person so far in this event. Another kill as he takes down Godby. It's all on to Tizian. Has some position to work with, given that he's already toward quad, but no bomb plant. I know the bomb's down on the site. They'll take position. toward Highway as well. There's no need to force the issue. I say they know that he's there. I said they know the bomb's down. They certainly don't know where his exact whereabouts are because they're still checking off toward lockers and taking their time about clearing corners, but as soon as he is spotted, he is no sooner taken down. 6-4.
So the first timeout for Big comes in. That was technically a force fight. They had the 3 AKs at Galil, but one player on a pistol. Bare bones utility went for the simple play towards A, but it seems like Kenny has just got a shooting gallery. They've got the executions. We know they've got the smokes and the ideas behind them, but there were gaps there, and Kenny has completely exploited them. I was watching it from his POV. When they finally committed towards the site, he had full vision from the CT truck of A main. He gets the first kill, pushes forward, and doesn't really miss a beat since then. Kenny's stats right now, 12 kills. After 10 rounds, he's only died 4 times, and they've got money for days. Body's got $15,000. Can't really say the same for the big boys, as they'll have Deagles, CZs, and they've got 5 smokes. We know they're a tactical team. That's exactly the pick I was talking about. He's got nothing blocking him. He's not flash, no smokes are down. And finally, that's the smoke they needed, that I wanted to see. They committed before that even bloomed. So that was a massive problem. Maybe some nerves coming in here, getting their timings off as a pretty basic smoke to nail. There's Kenny. Now towards B. You'll see him change position pretty much every single round, just to keep them guessing so they can't counter-strat him.
That's the beauty of this map as well. Yeah. I mean, it offers that to an AWP player on the CT side. You're
basically playing around the AWP. Wherever he wants to go, it's not the in-game leader calling him that, it's actually Kenny will be calling that. Wherever he thinks he can get stuff done, wherever his spawn, what he feels like, that's what top AWPers do. They don't need to be told what to do. They're actually technically a caller in themselves because they want to go and cause damage wherever they can, especially when they're getting in the zone. They had a few successful rounds, they're dominating their rival AWPer, and that's when they get that godlike space. Players like Kenny definitely live up to that.
Smoke again. Crisscross as well as the top hut. Existence won't even be able to spot them, but look at the positioning from Body. If they commit to this, which so far they've not, they're perfectly positioned. And they will go now. You saw Smooya. He's hoping to catch Body when he falls back. They've got a second player in support to watch out towards Sunroom, knowing that's the likely setup. Great read. It is just against pistols, but it's well performed. Residue nearly denying Body from spotting out Tapson, but he finds that kill as well, and now it's just 2 remaining. What is about to become a 7th round in a row for G2.
Oof. Well, there we go, Smooya. An audacious pick towards the mid area of the Desert Eagle there, but Kenny S hasn't really missed a shot the last few rounds. There's another 2 kills for him, and that's going to be 7 rounds in a row.
With 1 bomb plant.
Indeed. Well, there we have it. Big will have money once again. Smooya feeling brave, will bring out the AWP, and he has to challenge Kenny here. Will they go back to that slow-paced gameplay and allow him to open things up? AWPers on the T side obviously maybe boosted towards middle or working towards the B storage area. Sometimes go towards Squeaky Door, just face up straight towards the highway. We'll see which way he is inclined as we enter round number 12 here. The last few rounds of the first half. Smooya will be heading towards middle, but looks things to be boosted up on the red box for now. Smoked out, goes for the initial shot, trying to get a bit of wall damage off as they get closer. And look at this change once again. There's a reason Existence is called a bit of a tactical mastermind. He's calling a very good game so far, making things unpredictable and a little bit chaotic, but Smooya seems to be 1 step ahead of them. The boost is there, and Shocks doesn't commit, but if he does, Smooya should be able to take him down.
.4 HP for Gobby, early nade damage. Boost versus boost. Smooya's head shows. Tried to fire. No scope towards Shocks. Couldn't land it. They'll smoke off middle and allow Shocks to retreat back. Gobby, meanwhile, back over toward A. Will throw nades in. It's in his best interest to try and clear that side of the site if they've already lost mid, and the bomb is heading that direction as well. But look at Smiths. Smoke down in mid. He knows they haven't gone through. Shocks is still there. They vacated. This is going to be so well timed. So long as Nex doesn't spot him, he has, and just barely takes him down. 5 HP, but that's fine. Important kill because it opens up the back door toward B. I say that, and look at Shocks. His turn now.
Yeah, he's got them locked in. They know it as well. They have to commit at this point. They can't fall back. They have no idea where he is. 3 players waiting on the A site, including Kenny S, as they'll go for a boost. This is a nice little position. You can dodge the flashbangs, get a kill, just duck again. You're completely covered. Oh, there it is. Tapson with the AWP. He's opened the door for them.
Yeah, but he's opened the door for Shocks. The timings have gone both directions. Shocks only gets 1. Tapson's aware of everything. Still just 1 to find. Body just barely by Tapson. And the first round in 8 for Big. It was the bomb not down 15 seconds. The off is quick, but the reset is a real possibility as we hit round 13.
Indeed, after losing 7 rounds in a row, they do win round number 12. But one player survives, as Tabson luckily gets the AWP. But there's going to be some compromises here. Tizian goes straight to the Galil. And Godby hasn't purchased yet, he's got $4,000. Their Orba goes down after the counter boost from Shoxy, but Tabson steps up. We did say going into this one, he is the absolute star player. He's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything, as you can see. Great all prowess as well. That's a big round for him to win, and Body looking a bit frustrated in the 2 versus 1. He knew he could get off to that smoke and really win the round. There's about 10 seconds remaining. We get into the next, and it's pretty desperate times for Big right now. Lose this one, and not get anything else done this half. 7-5 right now. There was a timeout, and it will be Godby to purchase the AK armor. And I think that's pretty much all he can afford. He gets 1 smoke, so wants to play here. Are Big going to change things up? They've been very default so far. And Smooya bounces towards B once again. He might have a challenge this time. Waiting for CTs to push rather than actually commit towards the checkers. This could be potentially a run boost coming in. This is what Guardian does. In phase, he gets jumped across like this and he faces towards checkers. No one there to receive, unfortunately, for Smooya, so he'll hold towards the sunroof for now.
Next alongside with him, but Shox again has managed to infiltrate middle. Pushed up. Won't go through. Won't have that option yet. They don't have enough information to secure it. No one to boost Body. He's just checking towards sunroof. Gets away with it, arguably, because as you'd already noted, Smooya was happy to stay there with the AWP, but the smoke now down will allow him to hold the corner more effectively. And for about another 15 seconds, we'll hold everyone at bay. Is getting inquisitive. He hasn't really played the left side too often in mid, aside from the 1 round he was counter boosted. Big struggling to get map control at this point.
Yeah, not really much going on right now, but they are setting themselves up some mid presence. Good flashbang, Shox caught in the open. It's been known that the utility success from Big has been one of the absolute best in the event so far. And what we mean by that is like amount of time opponents are flashed or dead while in smoke as Tabson finds another. It's just Body waiting the B side now. And that's where they're waiting to go as Godby gets in the vents. If Body can find multiple kills, there's still a chance for G2, but he gets nothing done. He gets completely removed, and Kenny is surely going to be taken out of the equation by a smoke, but it's not deep enough. He can still sabotage this one. He's looking to deny the bomb, but it has made it safely to the site.
Just barely got across when he checked in. You're right, there was a gap in it for him to work with. This will avoid reset, and they're going to try and back off. Kenny might actually get caught. Makes it to Z. That'll let him control the peak, so Godby has had enough, but existence down. They know where he is. Want every gun gone on the G2 side. Still flying going at around 15. Oh! What is it worth? Kenny with 2. Finally put in his place.
Well, still high five. They know Kenny removed a lot of cash there. 7-6 though. Nice work from Big. Another default from them, but the flashbangs just perfect towards middle. You can see Tabson versus Body here. Both of them hovering around 100 ADR. In terms of the frags, Tabson's got 11 and 9. Body with 15 and 6. Existence, Matt, I hate to point out the negatives, but he's on 1 and 7 right now after 14 rounds. So not making a triumphant return to the stage just yet.
Existence putting himself in sword aiming with no flash, smoke down only. Gets up on top of Cinders.
That's an old school play, that one.
Yeah, it's an old school position in general. It, interestingly, isn't pre-checked anymore either, so you might be able to catch off one and fall in, but usually you've got 2 players taking that position for the T side.
Yes, you've got to dink then, I think, Tizian, through with the Galil through the shutter doors, and he did like 3 damage, 2 damage to Existence. He dinked him.
Interesting. Consequential. Almost actually detrimental, because if he calls out, yeah, I dinked him, but it didn't actually do any damage if you could hear the audible noise when you do hit an opponent's head armor. Body, meanwhile, still inside of mid, goes back out for the peak. That's exactly when Tabson strikes from on top of the boost.
Tabson starting to get into 5th gear now. He's hitting absolutely everyone with the AK-47. Has he got anything left? Apparently not. Kenny keeping to his level, 4 versus 3, but it's in favor of Big, sorry. As now They'll be opening the squeaky door. Smoke's coming in as Kenny hits another shot.
Watch the boost, though. Existence is here. They haven't checked it, and they haven't got control of Highway, which is the most obvious place to spot him from. He only gets one, but that'll slow the bomb down for enough that Kenny can swing back out. It's under 30 seconds, but it's Tizian to put the op in its place, and Smiths wants to swing back in. Smoke at forklift actually gives him room to work, and he wants to take advantage of the flames. I think he'd be spotted. No, he wasn't! I thought Tizian spotted him going by. He's got a chance in the one-on-one, but Smooey is better.
You could see how close that was. Smith's trying to apply the pressure. Get up close and personal. He got the call from his teammates, one of them was low. He found that first player, but Smooey hitting the shot they really did need there. That's going to tie things up now. 7-7 as Big call another timeout. We'll have a look at the money for G2. As you can see on your screen, it ain't looking too good. Everyone below $4,000. That's normally okay on the T side, but definitely not for the counter-terrorists. They'll be limited at best. They have to buy. It's the final round of the first half, of course. Big looking to take it. They lost 7 rounds in a row, but they have recovered quite nicely here, Matt. 3 on the bounce for them as the buys come through. His Existence, he's got another kill, 2 for 8. Shoxy 7 and 9. Don't really see him returning to star level just yet. It's Kenny S with 19 kills, Body with 15, Smiths with 11. Tabson, of course, is a very top for Big. What a game he's having. Looking fantastic with the AK.
Single-handedly, I think, carried this team into the great start they had to qualify for the major. The 2-month period last summer, he was remarkable as Existence tries it again, this time with a flash, not a smoke, but Gobby's able to trade it back out immediately. Can he go for more? There's a gun down in there. If he can get toward it, the flash is perfect. He's tapped it away. In fact, there's an AWP down. If he can get it, he uses the nade to push Gobby back. He could have actually used that to get the gun, but he still gets there. Tabson is ready for it on the AK-47. Shots boosted now, 5-7. Second one, third one we've seen in this event.
Well, he's been spotted. He's absolutely done for. Gobby, he has been picking up the orb this tournament. It's a lovely shot there. That's going to give them the man advantage once again, but there is a fly in the ointment. Smith's waiting for his opportunity, but taps him one step ahead. Apparently not. It's the Famous that comes out on top. Still a minute to work with here, but they are truly locked in towards the A bomb site. Gobby 2 kills so far, and Tizian can't help him out. 50 seconds, final round, has to go for this one with the L.
He's already in. Partially blinded, not spotted. Might get the cross as well. Smooey is going to know exactly where he is because the Molotov clears out Ticket. In fact, he won't even be touched by that, which means he can peek, but Gobby's ready for that angle. Fakes out the bomb plant as well. That won't bait Body in. He's got time to work with 31 seconds. Body knows that, knows he doesn't have to commit, so why should he bother peeking? Let him have the plant. Play this as a true one-on-one. Really spotted him retreating. Smoke out. He knows he's on the wall! And the captain gives them the lead going into half as Big pull back 8-7.
What a legend. Picks up the AWP from his fallen comrade and gets 3 kills and gets them the lead going into halftime. That is excellent. You can see exactly what he wanted to do. Use the smoke as a flashbang, bounce it off the wall, make him turn around. It's exactly what Body did. He didn't see it coming, and he gets completely removed. Well played to Gobby. First time he's made it to the playoffs of ESL One Cologne and putting on quite the show here. 8-7. Big swap over to the CT half, a straight back into the action, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the stats for you. Kenny S does drop a 20 bomb. Existence not so much. Tabson though, high flying with AK-47. Great stuff from him. But still anyone's game, absolutely so. Only 1 round in it, couldn't be closer. 3 sets of armor for the T side, 2 smokes, a Molotov, flashbangs. Suggests something quite technical and presumably towards the A site. Tizian though, not wasting any time to get presence towards A main, and Kenny S is absolutely fine with that. He's anticipating it almost.
So slower pace this time, considerably, than what we saw in the first pistol, though the first pistol did go out quite a while and went back over toward the A side. There was good contact toward B early on. No stack, but Shock's already toward the squeaky door. No call for his teammates to rotate back over. Kenny will take bomb. Smoke for him, as well as Smiths. They can exile anyone beyond the perimeter of the site. That discludes Nex. He's still holding in behind Quad. There's a Molotov to deal with that'll force him out, and he's already tagged. He's got to be very careful on retreat. So they've got the right utility and the right play in mind to work with it. Good tags as Kenny finds both over top of his teammate's shoulder, down toward Highway, and then back toward Forklift. It's Smiths to add to that total. Only 1 kill so far in return as they try and get into the side the site. No kit for Godby or Smooya. Smooya's on 7, but around the corner, Godby, they have no ideas. There, Smooya's already found 1. It's given him a chance. Despite that he only has 7 HP, the USP headshots can certainly be menacing, but Existence is ready and knew exactly where he was coming from. We tie back up at 8.
There's the execution, the smoke behind the site. One towards Highway, flash in, Molotov the quad. Pretty basic stuff, but very effective when you've got some world-class talent behind those successful bits of utility. Kenny S finds his 23rd frag, and they run away with the round. There was one exciting moment there where Godby managed to sneak behind enemy lines, get towards the quad position, but only manages 1 kill. If he gets the double there, maybe Smooya had a chance in the one-on-one, but it's 7 HP that eludes him. And actually, a more conservative second round here from Big, not going to be forced buying, going for the Deagles. They know they're a team that relies on utility, relies on that AWP Smooya. They want diffuse kits. That's how they win their games. They don't do it through brute force. They do it through methodical tactics. As Tabson looks for Desert Eagle kills here. He's going to be tagged up himself. That might be his cue to leave, but still, have a chance there. Unlucky not to take down Body, but mid control granted towards G2.
Smooya underneath the vents. Get information as to when they approach from middle. He's making a little bit of noise on the opposing side. 2 CZs this time. You mentioned it, and the reason I brought out the fact that Shox was playing with 1 in the last half is simply because we haven't seen a large transition away from having that weapon equipped still.
Indeed. I think once someone gets really unbelievable with the 5-7, it will kind of
might be what it takes,
influence someone else. I think you have to have some real big highlight moments for people to start realizing it can be very good as well. And it will be the B split coming in from G2 here. Smooya on the CZ this time. Flash there, and he's absolutely done for. I saved that. Wasn't as bad as I thought. He does get 1 kill and tag up Existence as well, but still I don't think that's going to contribute to a round victory here, as frag after frag, Shoxy comes in, he gets 3 to finish it off. Nice work by him. That's going to be 9 to 8 in the full eco now for Big. Considering they didn't fully invest into round number 2, they can bring out maybe some P250s here. They do have a little bit more residual cash than usual. But now G2 take the lead, 9 to 8, as Smiths was the coach for around a year for this squad and was brought back in, focusing more on teamwork and chemistry themselves, perhaps, as Shoxy gets it done. Returning from wrist surgery. We haven't heard too much about that. Seems like it all was successful.
It's actually true.
Yeah.
And it's in the 2015, the Olaf, and then it was Guardian. There's a lot of injuries or wrist problems for a number of players. The Shox one wasn't as talked about. Kind of went on his business, had the surgery, and has come back. It was all swiftly taken care of. And speaking of, he's going to take down Tabson. 2 All-Stars going back and forth at it. To keep an eye on Shox as well, too, because I said on the desk, if he starts going off, it's going to be masterful for G2. He's only up to 12 kills. It's 25 for Kenny S that leads the way, but 2 of those are in this round as he finds Godby as well. Smooya the last alive. Straightforward, he's dealt with from an aid.
Double digits for G2, but this is where the second half really begins here. Big will have the AWP, and as I mentioned, they do actually have the utility, something they're very famous for using this tournament. We don't see them too often on the big stage, but when we do, they always have some fantastic tricks and innovations to show us in terms of their executions primarily. And it's going to be the single orb setup on both sides here. Of course, Kenny being one of the absolute MVPs of this map so far. I'd say it'd be him, number 1, Tabs in number 2. As he'll be looking towards A main for now. Smooya with his orb holding towards B. Not a single kit available for the CTs here. And looks pretty default from G2. Don't really have a bonus round to work with here. They do have a Galil in the hands of Smiths. But this is just them getting basic map control. Shoxy working towards that squeaky door. And Kenny S just firing off some warning shots towards A main, it seems.
Body smoked off, deep smoke as well. This might suggest that they want to try and push up towards Sunroom. Boost above it to see if that is the case. Boost is actually clever as well, because if they don't spot anyone, they might suspect it's not there, and therefore box should be the next most obvious spot. Smooya is playing near enough to it, but they aren't going to pursue any further in that direction. Assistance, meanwhile, in the corner. As that smoke dissipates, we'll be able to spot toward the vents. Better still, Kenny's holding off, and patience pays because it's tapped him that he gets, tries to go for the fast shot. Thankfully, Smiths is still up above on the boost, and Kenny just barely gets away. Incendiary's a problem. I don't know if that's gonna reach, I don't think so. Just barely. Smooya is completely blinded over toward B. That's the next point of approach. He has spotted Shox, who's gotten immediately in behind the white box. If he stands back up to throw the nade, he might have problems, but Smooya's got the first shot. Time to reset as well. Finds Kenny and knows that Shox is still out there, but he's overrun. As Smith gets up close, coming in through the vents, it's now on to Nex, who plays toward headshot, and Shox has to go. 19 seconds. He's got the bomb, and he's got time to plant it as well, or does he? Because Tizian's coming from behind. I'm not sure he's going to suspect this. In fact, he's still looking toward the smoke, but the spray. He's now ready for it. Nade bounced in as well. Each knowing where the other is, it's on to Shox to try and go aggressive, and now he shows up as it's 11 rounds for G2.
A classic Shoxy sequence there. You could see, never a doubt in his mind he was going to lose that round. As soon as he got the information where the CT was, he kind of gave himself away throwing those grenades. And HE, in that sort of scenario, only just gives your position up. You can see the trajectory where it's thrown from. He tried to flash afterwards. At that point, it was too late. Shoxy had served him a death sentence. Amazing effort by Smooya. You have to give him that. It was a decent effort to hold them off, but wasn't quite enough. As Shoxy wins a very important round for G2 there. It's another eco for Berlin International Gaming here. We're going to see CZs, Desert Eagles, and a couple of bits of Kevlar. Smooya alone in towards B. They've got a smoke and an HE. Nothing too special from the CT side. A bit of a four-man stack developing here as Tapson falls back. They have got a flash. Well, they have not actually. They're going to have to just hold up and maybe smoke A main. That's about as good as it's going to get as the mid control comes in for existence.
Control, but then given back. Don't want to overcommit toward pistols. Instead, they'll gather themselves. Shox out toward the door. It's right through it. The impenetrable door. I say impenetrable. It does do damage to it, but it doesn't break down such as other ones do.
Yes.
Yeah, still trying to find an angle. Instead, we'll go to support. Looked like he was going to flash his teammates in. Thinks otherwise. Wants to try and catch the cross when a player retreats from quad. No incendiary or Molotov to head that direction in doing so because they don't have one. If they did, Combi might have problems. Taps in.
What is that?
Toward the doorway from that range.
Not bad, is it? Well, there we go. Maybe they've got a slight chance here now. It's going to be Body, though, trying to sniff however he can. They haven't really used any Molotov. What are they playing at?
Yeah, they didn't clear corners enough. These crossfires.
Ooh.
Lucky that Smiths is able to hold his composure as he walks back in. Smooya now suddenly finds himself in a 1 versus 3, but they definitely had problems going down 2 men immediately and hadn't yet cleared quad or toward the fence as Smooya gets one, nearly a lineup. Oh my God, Smooya! He's got it down to a one-on-one with Kenny. No gun picked up, but this CZ is menacing, and Kenny on an AWP is gonna have to be absolutely perfect. I'm not sure he's aware that Smooya's gone up. There's 2 bullets to work with. 2 bullets. He has to hit a headshot, can't do it, but he's got time to reload as he dances around Fork. The problem is Kenny's played it perfectly. He knows he can back off, and the time is gone. It's all for heroics at this point. But he realizes now the bomb too far gone. Can he even get away with the AWP? He's got 6 HP. Does he get far enough? I think he just barely does.
I think he'll be fine. Indeed he will. Great effort again from Smooya. But it's all for naught. He can't win the round. He maybe wanted to reload that CZ, but he was really feeling that point. 2 sensational kills from A main. Then had to take down Kenny, hoping to be low HP. CZ with 2 bullets was never going to do it, and Kenny played it absolutely perfectly there, just ducking and weaving around the forklift and just buying every second he could. Oh, such a great effort from Smooya. You got a feel from him on that one. Would have been one of those really historic plays on a big stage if he pulled it off with just a CZ, but not meant to be. And for the first time, Big bring out the double AWP setup here. It will be Smooya and Godby holding towards the B area, with Kenny S on the other side, to Smooya looking to take him down. Godby is getting a bit of intel for his AWP out, and they're going to do a run boost themselves. But look, I think maybe just boosting straight above the smoke for anyone crossing into the sunroom.
Exactly. Same thing they did 2 rounds ago, because this gives them actually an advantage. If you're going to throw a deep smoke to try and take position towards sunroom and they don't see you go, pending you're not against the wall, which is kind of unorthodox in general, but if you're not going to go, then that's information that actually plays in their favor. Despite that you're trying to conceal any movement that you've not gone, you're trying to sell it. As Smooya now, that's an interesting smoke. It was used to extinguish the Molotov, but it actually gives him a bit of an angle that he could have worked towards sunroom, and they aren't getting closer in that position. White spot Kenny does now, but can't hit the shot. He'll back off. Kenny's a bit caged, stuck in the corner because he has to confront Smooya when he goes back by.
Smooya now, Two players in front of him, but Kenius has made it towards the sunroom. Has he got his number? Orb against Orb, but there's so many players heading his position. He needs to make sure he can trade this out. He'll go down. Oh my goodness, he gets away. I thought that was him absolutely done for. He will be now. He tagged up Kenny. It's up to God B. Exposed as the Molotovs rain in. The last chance is next, and he might have to concede this one.
Smiths holds plant to default. Shocks can start to look back as the smoke student dissolving. He actually took damage from his teammate, I believe. As it was body firing in from main all the way to the other side. It's going to be a save though. AWP, the important asset in it. Tizian has a kit, armor as well, lots of utility to still hold on to. But it's now going to be 13 rounds for G2, and as you say, we go on to Dust 2 next. Which, I agree, Gobby, even back as far as his mouse sports days when he had Chris J as an asset on that map, and I do say that Chris J is an asset on that map, I think he's very good on it. It's also been a French map throughout history, and really Kenny S loves it.
And they played Astralis on that map, and sure, they lost, but it was in overtime. They're definitely good to go on that one, and I'm sure it's one they'll be very happy to play. At this point, it feels like G2 are in cruise control, haven't given up much here in the second half whatsoever. Well, actually, nothing at all. 6-0 in the second, and it's not to say that Big haven't been competitive in the second half. They've had plenty of close touch-and-go rounds. It just hasn't converted for them. It's quite unfortunate in that respect. As we get into another timeout here, we'll have a look at the money. 3 weapons were saved by the big squad. It's going to be Orb, make it 2 of them for Smoothia and Tabson. They have got a couple of rifles here, so the money's not a huge factor for them. They definitely can buy with the saved weaponry, but now time is, Matt, because there's not much left of it. 13-8 down on the T-sided maps. Kenny S is playing out of his mind. He's homing in on a 30 bomb with 29 kills. There's not really much you can do when he gets in this mode. There's not many tactics you can deploy to stop him on a map like Cash when he's hitting absolutely everything.
Kenny has had some of the most memorable, Henry, don't pull my tongue again, moments on this stage, going back to both the highs and lows. Obviously was heartbroken in 2015 after what was one of the most legendary French shuffles leading up to, I think, probably the one to match that would be this G2 formation last year and what was supposed to be the dream team, but he's also won here before and he's looking to be solid and try and push through. Thompson's going to do the same though with the AWP on the opposing side. The second one, you called it because they've got 2 and that's going to catch them off. Thompson's able to catch out Kenny immediately. He's out to Shocks as well. Great start in the round for Big as they look for their 9th.
This is much better now, looking for their first round on the board. Next will contribute as well. It's Absin getting it done in A main. That secondary Orb, that's not going to be holding back like a turret. That's up close and personal, but he definitely overcommits there. No reason to give up a kill, but it should be absolutely fine still. They've got a 4-on-2 lead. Just a bit of a shame to give up the AWP when it wasn't exactly necessary. Next, looking good now. Quite a quiet performance from him. Haven't said his name too much. 12 kills. Not exactly lacking too far behind the rest of his teammates. Existence now left in a 4 versus 1. His objective, make this round as expensive as possible. You can see the money on the left-hand side of the screen. Big are not financially stable right now. Every kill he finds will cost him dearly and really have a knock-on effect as Big don't need to hunt for any frags. 40 seconds, wait for him to commit towards a bomb site, and hopefully one player can go down, you can trade him out at the very worst.
Best case bomb plan for G2. Even that looks unlikely. There's money enough, don't get me wrong, but it definitely deepens their pockets, which benefits them if this gets further. It's Big again, looking for their 9th. Double digits are certainly achievable as Next takes him down. No chance he'll get inside of the site. Starting to slow down a little bit now. Nonetheless, it's the double op setup to be held again.
It absolutely is. It worked out tremendously well before, but can they continue that success? One more round will break down the cash flow of G2 as Tabson wants to do it once more. We saw Existence try this one out, but Tabson does it to much greater effect. Nice work. AWP takes down Kenny, who's playing very well indeed. So that's a nice 5-on-4 to find. Shoxy just trying to take away the AWP so they have it available to them if he wants to use it. He'll just be holding up there. Tabson knows he's done his job at this point. That's the kind of plays you want to look for on a map like Cash. getting stuck in, getting that first kill, then you can fall back. That's the job done. You don't need to keep applying the pressure or even hold toward that A main position.
Meanwhile, Smith's over top in mid already. Takes some damage, goes over the flames. That might catch Smooya off. Apparently not. He's blinded up. Smooya makes no mistake in hitting the shot. That'll drop the bomb as well. He hit the bomb that far up toward white box. You could certainly go over top of the hut and try and pursue Smooya, but that's exactly why Nex gets the position that he does and holds from Z Connector.
Two great picks so far from Big, but Body, he's going to crack open the B site at this point. That is completely open, but unfortunately the bomb has gone down towards middle. It's up to Shoxy to recover it. Smooya doesn't need to be in those positions, but luckily Tabson, he'll be at the white boxes to secure the round by the looks of things. Body can't do anything, and it's a nice clean round there from Big. Only 2 kills given up. Smooya with 2 frags at above us for the last one, but absolutely fine. You can see the money now getting to a difficult point as G2 will call for the timeouts. They've got 5 grand on Kenny, and with this sort of lead, I'd say they don't have to force it. That could be a really disastrous choice for them. Tabson will show us how perfect that pick was. His teammate flashed in as he's getting boosted up. So as they're recovering from the flashbang, hiding behind the box, he's got a bird's eye view of all of them. Really nice stuff there. Simple yet effective. The flashbang is everything in that little play. We didn't see that from G2, I don't think. It was just Existence going in by himself. And that's what Big have been known for, that synergy, that flashbang, just the little nuances like that. As Tabson gets a pat on the shoulders, he need to keep him happy. He's the one finding these big picks. He's actually very integral. Is this a force buy? Smiths has gone all in. Okay then. He's gone down to $0. He's the only one to do so. And he only gets a CZ and helmet for it. So everyone else will stay around the $2,000 mark. They've only got second stage loss bonus, so they'll only get $2,400 into next. He needs a bomb plant this round. As they'll boost one player towards middle to look for any close range CTs. It looks like a B split setup from what I can see right now. Smith's flashing towards middle to allow his teammates to try and get towards those vents, and indeed the B split will come through. And a shot from Tabson. Smooya though with the MP9, great position to shut this one down, but it can't get anything done.
Good overwhelmed. Shock's body, Smith's all inside of the site. Kenny's only gotten the other kill though. That's surprisingly the only other one that they get to go their way as he takes down Goppy. Bomb was dropped in the process, so it's not yet been grabbed and recovered in a position to plant. They have got a smoke to hold it off. Kenny getting the M4, brings it to a 2 versus 2, and in doing so is now going to get the bomb as well. Is the end? Oh, this is clever. The incendiary, if he gets it in now. Kenny's not well enough that he can withstand the damage. He didn't land. He bounced it back on top of the balcony. I think he missed. It clipped the doorway. That could have been denying in the bomb in itself.
That was actually really important. I don't know how that happened or if that's even possible, but he's Molotov'd himself out of position. CTs have got kits, but that slowed them right down here. They've got to wait as the bomb gets to the halfway point. 2 terrorists to find. They'll smoke one of them off. That's Kenny. Both of them towards Checkers, and they're low HP here. And Nex will find the first kill. Surely that's it. And Kenny will be traded out. A little bit scary for them. Nex hasn't got a kit. Is he defusing right now?
Better be on it. He is. He's on it on my screen. It's just, oh, he doesn't.
No, I don't
he doesn't
think
have
he has
time.
it.
He doesn't have time. G2's going to pull it back. 14 rounds. Oh, my goodness.
There was a kit. Surely one of them had a kit there. He really went down to the wire there. That was risky. That could have cost him the game.
Just barely gets, yeah, that's as close as you'll ever get again. We've seen so many close in this tournament, but that brings it to 13-11, a timeout immediately called. They nearly get away with it because stacking up toward Checker, they were not ready for Kenny to double peek from that position.
That was scary. Remember, that was not the force buy from G2, that was their eco. But Big won't be too worried about that. They win the round. Thanks to this man in your screen right here. It wasn't the cleanest finish in terms of the defuse, but he got the job done. That was the trade out. And he went for the full defuse, and I think there was a kid behind him. But still, we went around, so it's not even a factor here. But still, too close for comfort. He could see the chase of the blue bar against the red. I don't think that could be closer, really. When the light starts flashing like that, you've got milliseconds. Tabson maybe saying, there's a kid behind you, bro. Should have got it, but it's all fine.
Just wanted to make it exciting for everyone in the building, obviously.
Yeah, well, it's going to be 13-11, the double orb set up again. Body will go on the Mac 10. I assume that was because Smiths couldn't afford. He said, yeah, I can use the SMGs. He actually is quite cheesy like that. He likes using the Mac 10s. We're going for a sort of B-rush here, Matt. All 5 players, and Smooya dealing with them well. Got B will chime in at the same time, and it's a solid defense so far. Now a 3 versus 2, but Smiths is very low on HP.
Yeah, the Essential was not going down toward the vents. They got the smoke off to buy themselves a little bit of space, but you're right, the low HP could cost Smiths. Instead, they flash. They'll boost up. Utility yet deployed. Nade at the ready. This time, Smiths is the one to plant. He can still go down. Oh, the nade. That's twice they've missed the opportunity. That one won't. But the bomb is still planted, so give Existence a bit of hope. Actually, we'll go all the way back around toward B main specifically. Tizian to hold. They're going to wrap behind him. They know that he's likely toward the checkers. Maybe they go toward Vet. Instead, it's a deep flash to get back in position. Existence is able to catch off Tizian before such time that it blinds him. They can also reset. That won't allow him to peek, but he can still see the bomb from the left side. Next knows exactly which side he has to peek from, however. And we've got a one-round game.
Existence reached into the tactical sack and brought out a B rush. Smooya and Godby ready and waiting. Mowed them down. It was competitive towards the end, but still it's big. They continue to look promising here after going down 6-0. They've now got 4 rounds in a row. Tabson, 21 frags. Smooya had a great second half here. He's now reached 20. Next 17, Godby 16. There's only Tizian on 5, but that doesn't matter too much. He's got 4 players around him doing very well. Round 26, and this time it's Smooya's turn to get a little bit more aggressive this time. Using the smoke at the start. He'll push around, and this is brave. Takes a lot of balls to pull this one off. When you know you've got Kenny S on the other side of the server, it's Body anticipating as I look at his crosshair placement. It's absolutely divine, but it will be Smooya still to take him down. Not falling for any of those tricks. 5 versus 4, big. Looking pretty indomitable in the last few rounds.
Yeah, they've definitely turned things around. Extremely sharp, shutting down everything that G2 can throw at them. We'll hold up close in mid. Once again, he's been, unlike Kenny, which, I was going to say he's been really dominant in this position. He gets tagged up this time, not down though, so still a chance in it. Molotov will force him forward. Unlike Kenny, what we saw in the first half and what you mentioned, he's not as mobile with that AWP, so he hasn't been going toward A main. He hasn't been playing in mid quite so much. Definitely more of a homestay at B, but they've been able to bring out that second knob in the hands of Tabson, and he's still been formidable toward the A main position as well.
Really enjoyed his AWP. It's been fantastic to watch, but Smiths, that was not. He gets caught by the close range position of next, and he extends their lead. 5 against 3 now. 30 seconds remaining as Smooya. That's a really nice play. Throw that incendiary in, lock the door. They're not going anywhere as Godby tries to capitalize, maybe a slight overcommitment, but a decent idea. And next, that's not required. My God, they're applying pressure to Smooya now. But Tizian, he's had a quiet game so far, but maybe that kill saves the round.
15 seconds. Desperate to get the bomb down, they can no longer focus on the vents, and they'll get caught by Tabson, who already had position above. Kenny gets desperate. Back over.
What?
Why is he trying to knife? Insult to injury at that point, Smooya. I'm not really convinced by it, but they'll get the round. He knew his teammates would bail him out eventually.
So next defuse the bomb in that infamous round with 0.2 seconds remaining. So yes, that was a little bit of squeaky bum times, what we'd say in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, you say some strange things.
We do, and it will be round 27. I think it has to be the
Speaking of saying things in UK, Smooya's become a little bit of a villain lately, hasn't he?
He has. He's trying to make a name for himself, and I guess...
He's an eager young man.
Yeah, exactly. I respect it. That's the way he wants to present himself. That's cool. Not something I would advocate, but, you know, each their own. Either way, we have CZs here, P250s. This is the partial buy with the maximum loss bonus coming through. They'll have a buy next, but... Big on the cusp of taking the lead once again. Great nade coming in, does a bucket load of damage to 3 players. Smoke's coming in though, an execution of sorts, but Godby ready and waiting on the side, trying to look above the smokes. I love this position, but he might be called out.
Yeah, it's the timing that might catch him, not the position, but he gets away with it. Manages to vanish back inside of the smoke. How is Smiths going all the way around? And Godby fanning so far back, he's not able to spot them players running through. Smiths is able to get a kill immediately, but they've not detected Tizian, who's worked his way through the vents, and he'll quickly dispose of Smiths. As a result, that gives up the gig, but it takes back the gun. Good flash in. Kenny.
What happened there?
Oh, I don't know. Next should have been able to trade that more effectively. Still gets the kill in the end. He'll drop down to behind Body, and Shox falls next. G2. They've given up the lead. It's big to pull back 14 rounds.
A scary, scary round there for Big. I think Next got caught by the flash towards the vents and checker rooms there, so he couldn't be as efficient with the trade, but he made up for it. Great swing out at the vents, eventually gets the first kill, and this is the one that really matters, to find Body. 14-13, Tabson to finish the round off there. That was the partial buy, remember, from G2. Frustration setting in for Kenny. 35 frags for him. He can't do much more here.
This is reminiscent now of Cologne 2015. He was dominant in the final of that major. It was still a major back then, and yet they lost, and he was in tears because he played his absolute heart out, and it wasn't enough.
Well, do or die time. This is Big's map pick. It looked certain that G2 were running away with it, and now 6 rounds in a row against them. They were 6-0 up. It's 6-6 in the second half. Round 28. We are going to go in the full distance here. As Kenny S does have the AWP, but no Kevlar, or no helmet, I should say, because that makes him very vulnerable to those M4s.
Sharks once again holds out toward the door. He's gone there so many times, but yet they've not really been able to accomplish much with him in that position. In fact, even when they took the A site, he went down on multiple occasions. White box boost mid to try and spot Highway. None other than Kenny S, who has an AWP facing his direction. That second one we talked about in Tabson, he's flashed off the angle. It's almost like long corner on Dust 2, where if you want the op to pick, you almost don't want that flash there.
Yeah, it's just going to push the AWP back, and you get no chance of the pick, right? But either way, it's not looked good for G2 in the last few rounds, and this might be no different whatsoever. Great incendiaries coming through, but the spam not quite enough there. Existent might find a couple of frags here. An entry and an advantage for G2 as the bomb desperately tries to be planted as Kenny S to put it down, but Smooya still alive and kicking with God B. They played the bomb site together on the other side of the map.
I don't know if I agree with Existence picking up the second op in this. Okay, never mind. I was going to say why when you've already got Kenny on one, but he gets toward quad, nearly got spotted by Smooya in doing so. And I don't know that he's really going to give this much of a chance. He knows that it's going to be a reset, but it also is going to be 14-14. Smooya wants his AWP. Kenny's got his, and we've got a tie game. Shocks will go down in pursuit.
Well, well, well. It did take an Existence 3K. He's had a very, very quiet game. That's only his 12th frag. And the money map, how is it that low? These rounds have been so dicey, and with the partial buys of G2, sure, they're not winning them, but they're just chipping away every single kill they get, and I think the saved AWP, this could be the deciding moment now. G2 might not even be aware of how much advantage they have here. One AWP, and they're gonna have to take a timeout here, surely, because they got about $2,000 on average. There's the timeout.
In the 4 rounds that they lost out of the 5 in a row, the last 4 had at least 3 kills, so there was a lot of reinvestment required.
Okay, so let's talk about their options right now. You could force buy at this point. Try and go for map point first. You could have the AWP, you could have SMGs, maybe a couple of FAMASs at best. Or you take the P250s with the AWP combo. That's almost giving map point to G2, but you'll have money to be competitive, and the idea will just be save the AWP going forward. The other option is take full eco with Smooya, and maybe he can win the round single-handedly. He'll have to do something absolutely ungodly to pull this one off. And I'm having a look at the decisions map. I can confirm, ladies and gentlemen, Big are going for it. They're betting every single dollar they've got into round number 29.
Wow.
They're going to try and take this to G2. If this doesn't work out, it's pretty much GG. They'll have $1,900 for the next round.
And this is strictly due to the op. This is similar to what an IP used to say. Sometimes if a gun's left, teams are baited into buying, but it's their only chance if they want to try and utilize it. Smooya this time toward mid. Existence is already out as well. He's up toward the white box. Has Smooya had any indication of that? Because if he doesn't swing wide, Existence is going to arrive directly in front of him. In fact, he's about to throw a smoke. AWP at the ready instead. He's still peeking. It's a tight enough angle that he could still hit Existence, whether he means to or not. If he's looking at him or he's ready or not, he still finds the shot.
They knew where Smooya was. You can hear the scope clicking. Existence even called for the flashbang to go in. And I'm sorry, this didn't look like he was ready for it. Very slow, like clunky movement when he gets in towards the connector. Smooya just removes him. And it will be now 14-14, and the opening pick going in favor of Big there. Smooya knows he has to perform in this round, and he's funneled them in towards B. He's ready and waiting. Drops the smoke and now focused towards checkers if he likes as he rotates over towards the bomb site now. God be with him. This is looking promising, man. I actually like the look of this. They're getting all this information on the other side of the map. They've locked him in towards B, but the Molotov's successful. He's blind as well. Won't cost him his life, but he's down to 11 HP.
Yeah, and part of that came from Spray. The last bit of the damage came, oh my goodness, Nex through the edge of the box. Nex has turned things around. Smiths is stuck in the corner. Shox managing at least one, but this all-in play from Big might pay off as Shox tries to go aggressive in return. 24 seconds, bomb down. A low HP still on Smooya. Headshot angle, oh goodness me. But Tabson responds with a trade, and it's map point for Big.
That is such a brilliant play from Big. Everything was just spot on there. Smooya holds his nerve against the aggression right up towards that connector in middle. And then the information gathered. The confidence to push in towards A main and call that no one is there meant they could get all their players over towards the B site. I'm sorry, Existence should have got that kill. That was his. 15-14, Big swing things back in their favor. And Smooya, he ain't done just yet. He's gonna be pushing in towards B storage. He's hungry for more. Just loving the environment. Final round, G2. If ever there was a team to pull it off with 2 AKs and 3 CZs, they would probably come to mind as a bit of a French special. But Smooya once again with that intel all the way in towards Sunroom. They can now solely focus on the A site. He can hold absolutely everything towards B from this position.
Useless becomes more useful for Smooya at this point in time, because all he has to do is catch them off in transition back in that direction. The fact that Goppy spotted one going toward the vents is fine. It may actually encourage Smooya, because if they are going to try and take vents, they're likely to try and take over B main in the process, as well as Goppy stays very passive. You need to overcommit. He goes down, he opens up middle, and then it might be the opposite problem as they head toward A. But the forward stance and his position, his passive position, now the pick paying off. They can also stack up inside of the A site with 3 players aggressively. Smooya's got a bit of a shooting gallery, but he's not exactly hitting shots. Kenny's got a shot in return. AWP for Kenny. Existence has got B down. Sight wide open, and those 3 men from A are suddenly running as fast as they can.
It was looking so good for Big Map. They've got a chance. Nex has been playing incredibly well on the CT side, and the bomb not planted, and it might take a little while yet. Shox has got to be brave as he crosses over to the site. They don't have anything to block off the vision from Heaven.
Smart play from Shox as well. It was already engulfed upon the default position, so he elects to go behind the box. He could withstand any further utility unless it was a double nade, which they didn't have to work with. You're right, they can't take away vision. So Tabson will try and take advantage of that fact. Spams into the corner and desperate measure to try and hope and catch out even damage at this point. Anything to encourage the retake, which they must go for in round 30. Kenny, his obligation clear. Hold toward Heaven. Shox that's gonna swing out. He's got Smiths to work with. Tabson, nothing he can do on the AWP. We've got more rounds to go.
Similar heartbreak to what we saw yesterday for Big. So close yet so far. This is their map pick. They were up against 3 pistols, 2 AKs. They had B control. Smooya, he gets the first kill. Couldn't find anything more, and at that point it just erupted. G2 capitalized on the missed shot. And there we have it. Everything's reset at this point. We don't swap teams. It's going to be 16K MR3. And Shox to close things out. Why not with the M4A4? A really chaotic game. That's what we love to see on the big stage here. People showing that they're nervous and not looking 100%. And it comes down to the scrappy sort of rounds and just the split-second decisions. The pushes that look so good. If you miss a single shot in CS map, it can punish you for absolutely everything. Like we said, 16K, and Big was so good at that double AWP setup. Presume that's where they go, and indeed they will. Smooya and Tabson. First to 19, 18-18, and we'll do it all over again. It's got B flashed off at the start. Retreats. And he has got Smooya behind him to cover.
Kenny with a passive hold. Smoke still down toward A main, and Nex has gotten inside of the corner. Shox hasn't necessarily heard that. He would have when he dropped back down off of the Cinders. But Nex is pushed so far forward. So much information. Tizian's just going to watch the door behind it, knowing that Shox is on default in that position. Thompson hasn't rotated off of middle yet, but CTs can certainly be confident in Goppy's position playing off of Smooya, given that they've got nowhere else they can be really on the map other than B main at this point in time. 30 seconds. Good find. Smiths gets next, pushed up. Tizian's going to resume that, though, so that might be a bigger problem if they don't expect the second. Sure, they go down a man early, but with two players running directly toward him, smoke down, he's in the corner. Do they expect to have more than one there? Absolutely not. Tizian! Oh my! He somehow missed the shot when he jumped back up. Thankfully, Tabson's in the side, and Gobby's pushed out through middle because that could have all fallen apart all too easily. It's just a one-man advantage, but the HP and the time certainly favors toward Big as Tabson misses the shot but wraps back around. Bomb will be planted, but only just good. No scope. Looks for a second, can't get it. 4 HP versus Smooya on an AWP. He misses a shot, and this AK can certainly prevail, but he does not miss often.
Smooya rising to the occasion here on the stage. Another clutch victory for himself. 25 kills on the board. And that's going to be an early lead here for Big, but Tabson, don't forget about him. What an amazing performance there. He's been stellar on the secondary AWP.
AWP's nice, I like it.
AWP, he's been absolutely fantastic. And you can see Tabson next, Smooya, all hovering around 25 kills. Great work by that little trio. Gobby's had his moments as well. Don't forget the last round of the first half. Kenny S, 37 kills. We get into the second round here. Obviously going to run with that double orb setup. Why not? It looks so successful. 1-0 as Existence bravely makes his way out. Completely destroys Tizian, but the follow-up grenade is decent. CT's maintain the 4-on-4. One player sneaking up towards Highway. That's Smiths. Oh my goodness, how didn't that hit? Look, that was dead on from Tabson. He actually takes the orb bullet in response, but keeps hitting with the AWP. An absolute beast with the weapon.
7 players and 4 ops. At this point in time on the map, as Kenny has one of them, as always. You'd expect that. He's hoping to get a gift as he holds toward white box, but the antithesis of wanting is waiting, and they can't really afford to wait being a man down. A minute to play with. They've got some time, but CT's in return, and likewise do not need to overextend. So a trio as they'll gather themselves inside of middle. Elected to go back to an AK to accompany Kenny. Gobby spots Kenny though. Op goes down on the T side. G2 looking like they could lose both of the opening rounds in overtime. Good response from Shock. Swift enough that he's able to get toward the vents with 32 seconds, and Body's already in position towards Sunroom, and now they converge. So far, no smoke. That'll be bounced. Flash as well. Next, no chance, but Smooya is still holding it. Next decides he's not going to be sitting back. He wants through, and they'll make it work out perfectly.
G2 starting to drop off now. And then getting near the plant. Great stuff from the defense. 2-0 now. He's running that clock right down, holding them out the utility so well. The split attempt there from G2. Smooya next to shut them down. It's been pretty much the storyline towards that side of the map. Final attempt here for G2 to post a single round on the board. Or for Kenny, of course, he gets 16k money. Not really a factor here. Bomb still down in T-spawn, so Jets, they're going to be doing something a little bit more slower. As we'll get into another default hold. Tabson, this time with the AWP holding at the mid connector. There he is. Shock's alone at the squeaky door. I'm sure it's open, just trying to listen out for footsteps, any sort of cues he can get.
He's been there many, many times. As we say, though, they haven't really been able to take advantage of that. They haven't been able to get a solid A execution often at all on this. Goodness me. CT side. I don't need ears, Henry.
Yeah, they're overrated anyway.
No one listens to me anyway.
It is going to be
definitely not this cathedral of Counter-Strike.
Mid-take from G2 here. Tabson will be holding up now towards Highway. Kenny hasn't looked as high-flying as he once was. Tabson's almost stolen the show from him. Might do again. The flick doesn't connect. 30 seconds now. And it has to be the A split, but Nex's position is just perfect. Has he got a smoke still? He's got an incendiary. This is why Big are playing so well in this tournament. The utility usage is sublime. It's still a 3 versus 3, but Smiths has lost the bomb. It's back and forth, but a struggle for G2. And Existence holding the connector now.
He was so hoping that they would head that direction because they still have to recover the bomb. Kenny just barely gets there in time with the smoke. He's still going to work back in. Default position, 7 seconds to hold the plant, but it's not wide open toward A main. Kenny, oh, does he hear Guppy? He certainly does. He's going to try and use the edge of the smoke to his advantage to negate any possible for doubling the angle, but Guppy is too damn smart. He swings back, and Existence is so far away. Guppy has realized based on timing, but what a shot from Existence. Does he suddenly expect that the second player is coming from CT because he easily could have covered his cross? Instead, he's allowed him to get toward the bomb. AWP taps it, wants to bait him out. Knows he's in the air, but can't find the shot this time, Smooya. Still, though, he will hold it. He might go for brains over Braun. Swings out, and Existence has other ideas. We at least get around for G2 before we split out in overtime.
It looked like they were absolutely done for there, G2. How Nex & Co has still got incendiary smokes and flashbangs at that stage of the round with 30 seconds remaining just blows my mind. But still, the individual prowess from G2 does yield them one round. Smooya, it looked like he was going to convert another 1v1. That shot, as Existence jumped up, normally he would connect that, but a rare miss from him does come through, and it does give G2 at least a lifeline here. They switch over to the CT side now. It's 2-1 overall. And they'll be going for a single AWP setup. They do have double AWP potential on this team. Remember, Shoxy used to AWP with Kenny way back in a different G2 lineup. Smiths, I'm not sure if he'll be picking up the AWP again. But for now, single AWP setup for the French squad. One player towards B storage. Pick it 2, Smooya and Nex. His body will have a passive hold here. Smiths on the back of the site. Shoxy alone in middle, but he has got backup from Existence if required. Kenny spotting utility. And remember, he had so much freedom in this position, but lucky the smoke is down now.
Jumps up, good play. Wasn't sure that he was going to get away with it, but Existence forced to turn away based on utility. Kenny can't hit a shot either. This gives them the site to work with. It'll give them map point as well in overtime. Another chance to try and close it. Smiths, meanwhile, cutting off the salesman over toward B. That buys them a bit more space because now that Guppy's got Kenny, they know Smiths is nowhere nearby. This is done. There's no chance Smiths pulls this back. He's got everything he needs, every tool in his arsenal. Kit, smoke, incendiary, flash.
He's just hoping for the miracle 1 versus 4. It's overtime, money's not really a thing. I agree with you though, I don't think he's got much chance of even finding a kill here. I say that as Nex going down, so decent start, but so much to do. 3 kills and a bomb defused, it's already halfway gone.
I don't understand the point of Tabson going hunting for this point because money's not a factor. Just stay near the bomb. The fact that they went so far away, if he actually got 2 kills in the A site, there was a chance he could have defused that based on their positioning. That was an unnecessary risk the Big just took. They'll get away with it, sure, but that could have actually fallen apart.
I think it was fine. 1v4 against Smiths, I think it was going to be cool. But either way, double AWP setup on the T side. You can do this in overtime, and you can just purchase the AWP, throw an AK on the floor. We saw them doing on Inferno yesterday, I believe. As Gob and Nex head towards that position. It's Gob with the secondary AWP. We'll see whether he can open things up. He's actually looked quite impressive on the AWP at times. And yes, has to win every single round here. He's not going down without a fight. 2 AWP kills as Smiths picks up the secondary AWP as well. Not Shoxy, I take that back. So it will be a 5-on-3. It's obviously big, a map point right now, just to reiterate that. We'll see whether Smooya can pull this one. Doesn't look like it'll be possible, but there's the opener.
Finally, after Kenny already found 2 shots gets Nex, it's just Smooya remaining. You're right, it is Smiths on the second AWP. Used to be a primary opper back in the day. Minute and 10, bomb down in middle. Available to Smooya as well. So I know he's there. He's making a lot of noise. No need to get caught off in another one-on-one. Molotov's a problem for him because it's going to buy further time in which they can close down on his position rather than him grabbing the bomb and trying to isolate. Best chance was obviously to head toward B, but they still know he's there.
So he needs to get that bomb, and Smiths has got him locked in towards B. He's already useless right now.
Did he not realize the bomb's on the other side of the box? I don't think he didn't realize it. He thought it was in the other side of the garage. That's why he was peeking.
Oh, so
bomb was in the corner on the inside of the garage.
Bit of misleading CSGO radar, perhaps. But it was unlikely for him to do much of that anyway, but you are right. Either way, it will still be map point for Big, but 1 round away for G2 to take us to double overtime. So, next round coming in, final round of overtime here, at least the first set. Can Smooya and co close things out? Kenny finds 40 of kill. Smoke towards the mid-entrance of the start. Smooya going to be challenged here, but he'll rise to it. Takes down Smiths. That was the secondary orb trying to replicate some of the things Smooya was doing in the first half. And now we have it 5 versus 4. Map point, Big have the advantage. There's so much time, Matt. 1 minute 30 as they completely CTs out now and get some intel.
Rotation back toward A from both Existence and Shocks. Slide boost. And again, Existence task is immediately to step out from underneath the Shocks and watch off that doorway. Door's certainly open. Smoke down means he actually doesn't have to go as far because he won't be able to see anything anyway, so that means he can hold Shocks up a little bit longer. And they are slowly heading in that direction. Bomb in the hands of Godbeat will be the first to peek from lockers. Utility suggests A is the certainty. Not wrong. 2 boosted as well. They're going to go through mid-body. Now has to be careful. Boost inside of the site. He's got to be the one to watch Highway. Can't do it. He's taken out immediately. And therefore, they have to give up on the boost because Shocks knows they're going to be working in behind him. Tizzy in from the door gets both. And Bomb will be planted as Kenny is left in a 1 versus 4 to try and save the map. Good first shot of the CZ. Gives him time to get the AWP ready. But he's only got 19 HP. Paper cuts at this point to take him down. I don't know what the truck did, but it's blinded now. Kenny wants to get around the corner. AWP ready, finds one. My God, he's good when he's on. 19 HP may not matter if he can continue to find fine shots such as that. Looks for the no-scope. Next is ready. And Berlin International Gaming find map 1.